Good afternoon everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm just sort of giving you a quick look around. These are some of my house plants. I'm just going to do a whole lot because I haven't got time to do a load of other stuff today. My African violet here, I've just watered it, and as you can see there are buds there, and there are some around the other side as well, so it is happier here and it is going to flower at some point. Now these are the cuttings I took off of the African violet to my right here, and as you can see there is a flower about to appear from here. So there's one, at least two of them about to flower, and the rest of them have all sorted out into little new plants. And the reason I've put the Drosera there is because I have just watered that because it ran out of water a long time ago. I've just watered it and we are suffering a little bit from fruit flies because of the bananas in the fruit bowl. So I've just put it there, see if it can catch some lunch. Okay. As you can see, these are my two paths. I can't see that there's anything coming from here in the light here. I know there's a new fan there. This was a new fan, and that's another new fan, and then there's a new fan around the corner here. So something at some point is going to produce a sheath, I hope. But I don't know. I mean, when I received it last October it was actually in flower, so how long I'm going to have to wait for it to flower again I don't know, and it has had a bit of a traumatic time because it's been potted twice. This is my Paphiopedilum Mordier, and this one, this is the brand new fan. It gave out this leaf and then it gave out that leaf, and it feels like there might be something else down there, but I don't know. All I've got to do is wait and see, because again this one was repotted when I first got it, because this was incredibly wobbly. I mean, it's nowhere near wobbly now. It's settled in the pot, so hopefully, I'm just hoping it's gonna somehow flower at some point, but it really depends on when. You know, it's just a wait and see game, so all I've got to do now is just let them sit there and drain off what I've just watered in them, and now I'll go and get the rest of them. Plants are amazing, they forever amaze me. Now look at this. This is my bent up dendrobium that I was given last year, and I did have 3 new canes, but as you can see this one rotted away, and so did the other one. In fact, I think I might be able to pick that out now. Yeah, there we go. And so did the other one. Unfortunately they got wet, and then of course the sun came out, so they got burnt to death. However, this one at the back here, this one here, has gone from strength to strength, is standing upright, is still growing. I assume this cane is completely shriveled because it's giving all its food to this cane. So I'm hoping, I mean, I should just leave it there, but it is shrivelling up, which it hasn't done at all before, so it is starting to get shriveled. It's not as shriveled as it was, but it is getting shriveled. So that is looking like I might have an upright cane now, after having these two bent ones come up. So I've found it a place where it's happy. Guy is doing his autumn thing. I've just pulled off a yellow leaf, so I assume he's just doing his autumn thing. I'm not sure if that's a terminal leaf there at the top. Can't see because the lighting in here is absolutely rubbish. That's better. There you go. So there's a leaf there, so he's still growing, and as I've shown you before, the roots in this pot are absolutely out of this world. He's got a really good root system. He's still growing, but he has yet to flower, and obviously he's not shriveled at all, so he's quite happy. this guy is the guy who was in flower forever and a day, like 18 months. I mean, as you can see, this leaf is about to go. I'm not expecting much out of this at all today. I'm not expecting much out of him at all. He might surprise me, but if he does, that's a surprise. If he doesn't, I won't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't see anything now until next year, because he's having a well-deserved rest after flowering for 18 months. I really think he deserves the rest, don't you? These are my rescue fowls I found last year on holiday, who haven't done anything yet. But, I mean, as you can see, this guy has got a good root system. He's got some new roots coming on him. So I suspect he's getting ready for a pot at some point. But these are the ones I'm leaving bare rooted because I just wanted to see if I could get them to do anything. And that one appears to have taken off. And this one is even better. I mean, look at that big juicy root. There, okay, I know the one next to it has had it, but that big juicy root there, and I actually think that this guy had stem rot, because if you look at the bottom of that, look how black it is. It's not soft and soggy at all, because I managed to sort that all out. So I think he had stem rot. But, having said that, he's put out this leaf this year, so this leaf is not good, but judging at the root system, the fact he even put out a leaf is quite amazing. So I'll leave those two. Two are the fowls, which when I took them out of the pot, it was obvious they were two, not just one. Obviously they look very dehydrated at the moment, but as you can see, that's because they haven't got much of a root system. So I'm not entirely sure whether these will survive or not, but I'll keep giving them a go. The great thing is, because they're in the bare root system, I mean, look at that. That was full of dead roots, so if I hadn't taken that off, it would have gone all the way up. So I may have salvaged something. That one. This one's doing slightly better, in the fact that it's actually tried to put out a new leaf. Failed dismally, but tried to. There are a couple of new roots there. This one seems to have sorted itself out. Yeah, so I'm quite interested to see how we get on with this, because those two have been, these two behind there have been here for a year, and they're now starting to show and pick up. So hopefully we might get some flowers out of them. I mean, obviously I don't expect anything new out of this lot, out of these, for a long while, because I only bought those this year. So, and that was to replace my number one. They looked very good until I went to repot them, and then the mass in the middle that was absolutely soaking wet, which is why all this like type of rot is there, I think. But it's all stopped, so I'm going to leave it now and keep them in the bare root experiment and see if I can get them to grow some more roots, because once he's got more roots, then I can sort out other things. Now this guy I've had for a year, pretty much, give or take a week or three. He was the white one with the lovely white sprays. I don't know what the marks are on the leaves. I suspect that's probably cold, water and heat because I can't pull them too far away from the windowsill. I can't tuck them in front of the curtains because that doesn't work. The window's been open, and obviously I can't get them as far away from the windows as I would like, so I'm suggesting that's probably just weather damage. But I mean, as you can see, look at this. This guy has a root system, and I do believe, where did I look just now? I saw it just now. There's a new root come out there, and there's a new root and something else come out just there, so I'm wondering if that's a spike, but I can't tell because it's still all curled up, so I can't tell myself whether it's a spike or not. However, obviously his roots are fine, he's happy, he's put out this leaf. This is the latest leaf. This one came out before, but that was after it had all this damage and after it finished flowering, so I'm not expecting it to put out too much because I don't think I actually fed it enough, which I think is what part of the problem is. So which is why this leaf is so small. It's not good, even though the root system is fantastic on this. My Pinguiculatina. It now looks like everybody else's does on the YouTube channels. It's still got the babies in here, under here. You can't see them because it's grown all these big leaves, which can't be bad. There you go. There's the babies in there. And so I assume when I bought it, it went into its succulent phase, and then all of a sudden it's just gone into this phase. And looking in there, is it going to flower? Is that what it's going to do? I can't see. I don't know. But it could be going to flower. In which case, if it does, I shall let you know. Because I know they are very pretty and pink. So it may well flower. But I have no idea. This guy's looking tatty, but I'll forgive him that. He escaped out of the pot he was in. I repotted him. Then I have some weather damage going on. And obviously he's losing his lower two old leaves, because the one on the left there, this one, is the newest one he's just put out. There are some new roots in the pot. This is the guy who had those gorgeous lemon yellow flowers on. So who flowered back in February and kept going until about May. And this was the guy who I brought home from holiday last year in flower. Didn't expect him to flower again. He flowered again, so I'm hoping he might flower again, but you never know, he might decide he's not going to. Just have to talk nicely to him. But I couldn't get him in this pot either, so it was a bit of a nightmare. But I need to sort out how to get him in the pot, but at the moment, because he's got the aerial roots, it's fine. How about these for two extremes from the same plant? This is the other Kaye of my bent dendrobium that's got the new cane. He has no root system, but managed to flower. Whereas the other one has a fantastic root system, but hasn't done anything at all regards flowering. So, who knows the reasons why anything. This is the one I had to break off, because otherwise I was going to, or I had to take off, because otherwise I was going to catch it, and I was going to break it. He's not very stable in there at all, because the roots are coming out rather than going in the media, which is not what I had intended, but you know, we have to wait and see. He'll get there eventually, I expect, if I just leave him alone. So yeah, so I got some Spring Dreamer pollen, teeny weeny flowers on a little Kaye, which I was not expecting. Look at them, aren't they gorgeous? I mean, obviously the bigger ones look better, but you know, considering he's what? He's only that tall. You know, it's quite amazing. I'm just pleased I got him to flower, because it just proves I can do it. This guy is the pretty orange one that should have been 15 quid and was reduced to 4, because he was dropping his flowers. I mean, obviously they've now all gone. I've just chopped the flower spikes off because they've gone brown. So hopefully maybe he will spike again, but it doesn't look like he's got loads of roots in there, so we'll just wait and see. Leave him up where he is and let him get on with it. Just keep watering him every so often. This guy's still happily flowering his head off. No, he doesn't seem to be showing any signs of giving up just yet. So he's been out in flower since May. Yeah, because he started to flower just after we came from being away. So he started to flower in May, and he's been open fully since at least the end of May. So, you know, that is the only phal I've got in flower at the moment, apart from my dendro up there that's flowering, that I wasn't expecting to because it's too small. So, yeah, he's still flowering, and they're still very, very pretty. Look at that. Look at that. Look, I don't know if you can see, look at the pattern on there. They're pretty. And then it's just a little orange in the middle with all these bits around the white. Right, this dendrobium I bought to guard against Mr. Wonky upstairs. and when I first showed him to you, obviously he was in full flower, but as you can see, these bits, he has since dropped all his flowers, so all his flowers have gone. The canes are still looking quite green, but what I noticed was, look at this, right, 1, 2, 3, 4 brand new canes on there. So I'm just going to leave him be. I'm not going to do anything with him, because I don't want to make him like Mr. Tatty, obviously. He's got quite a good root system in there, which you can't see very well because I covered it all up with the media. And he seems to be doing quite well. I mean, the pseudo bulbs are nowhere near as shriveled as I thought they were going to get. He quite likes his place in the lounge, so he's quite happy. He's got enough light in there to be sensible, but it's bright but filtered, if you like, because I've got net curtain in there and he's a long way from the window. Obviously as the weather gets colder I'm going to have to move him off the mantelpiece because the fire's going to get too hot for him. Okay. Right, now I'm sorry, this is a couple of days later from after I did all my orchids, and as you can see the weather has changed a little bit. It's a bit darker in here, but you can see, look, my African violet is starting to come out. Hopefully, I thought it was a paler blue than that, but maybe not. Yeah, he's just been standing in here. He's looking a bit happier now. I think he was a bit. And there's my pinguicula that's also coming out with a flower. And here is a Drosera sundew that I bought, and it said it was a bog plant and it was bone dry when I bought it. All these green bits up here, not the bits with the brown ends, that's how I bought it. All these green bits are new bits since it's been in my care. Here is my epiphyllum that is growing. It obviously hasn't got as much light as it did have, but it's the only place I can put it, up there. So, you know, and it's next to this orchid here. So that's doing alright, I think. One Tradescantia taking over, wandering dew, getting quite large. It's quite good fun that, because if bits break off I just stick them back in the pot, so it's getting bushier as well, which is getting interesting to get in and out of that hanging basket, so I might have to transfer it to the green one next to it. The green one on the left has got some baby spider pups in it, but in all the heat it got forgotten about, so whether it will recover or not is anybody's guess, but we'll give it a go and see what happens. Right, this is my cream Easter cactus that is loving being up here, because as you can see it's got lots of new leaves on it. It's standing upright. It's yeah, in the heat one or two of these wilted, which was kind of a, you know, my cactus has wilted is not 2 words you expect to hear in the same sentence, which is why my daughter's boyfriend gave me a funny look when I said that. So that one's fine. And here we have the red Thanksgiving cactus, and it was this one that had wilted. It doesn't look as healthy as the one up on the kitchen windowsill there, but it's certainly standing up, nowhere near wilted now. This guy is my orange Thanksgiving cactus. Now if you remember, back in January I picked up a Thanksgiving cactus for 65p because it was, actually I think it was February, and this guy was so dry it was unbelievable. So what I'm hoping is he'll give me a good show this year, because he's looking quite healthy, and I'm just hoping that they'll give me a good show. These are my air plants, the tillandsias. I'm not sure what they're doing. I water them. I'm not quite sure whether they're happy or not. I don't know. That's a big one. I can't remember what that one's called, but the 3 at the bottom of the Argentea ones. These are more, you know, they say that when you take leaf propagations from a succulent that they may not all take. Yeah, well, I thought none of these would take, and unfortunately all of them have, which means I've got to do something about it at some point, because this one's taken, all of those in there have taken, all of those in there have taken. These are the bits that were left over. As you can see, they're getting long like that. This one here obviously has taken. My poor what's it called? I can't remember what it's called now. Pearl von Nuremberg has exfoliated, and it doesn't matter what I do, I cannot sort out why, because I can't do much more better than this, like short standing it outside, you know, because it's got light coming from the right of it, it's got light coming from behind me, so straight in front of it, and pretty much light coming from the other side, so I don't quite know why it's done that, but there you go. Behind it you can see is my other aloe that was a gift with lots of pups in the back. I think there's 3 in the back there. And this is my red and white Thanksgiving cactus, which is the bit that's up on the windowsill there that has, what's the word, that I broke off accidentally. So this one I bought back in October last year, and it has sort of sorted itself out. It's calmed down and that sort of thing. So I'm really impressed with my house plants. I'm sorry this is a short video. I've got so much going on at the moment. I'm in the process of trying to build a website. I'm in the process of trying to find a job. I'm in the process of doing all sorts of other things, and it's just taking up time. You know, there's not enough time in the day. If I had the time, I would have done this a while ago. I think I did the orchid one 3 days ago. And for those of you who are wondering where my amaryllis is, both my amaryllis, because I had a discussion with my daughter who decided that we couldn't have amaryllis in the house because they're lilies and they're toxic to cats, and she's a bit addicted to this body here because he belongs to her, so you know, he's quite fun, and I did find when I was out one day, and I will put a pop-up up, or if not it'll be down in the comments, of a peace lily that had been completely neglected. The same time I picked up the Drosera, the peace lily was £1.50, and I know they're known to be very tolerant, but also they're very toxic to cats. And so my mum gained a peace lily and 2 amaryllis when they came to visit. So they've gone home with my mum so that mum can look after those. I know she loves amaryllis anyway, and the peace lily was just an extra. So hopefully they will look really good, and I'll get lots of photographs at Christmas, or afterwards, or even maybe before, you never know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'm sorry this is a bit bitty and a bit, you know, difficult to sort out, but it's just been one of those months, and if I leave it any longer, this monthly update is going to end up in October. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.